Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another edition of the DU Crossover. Today we have Alex Ashton from the League One Updater and, of course, the USL Show, coming in to talk to us a little bit about Richmond Kickers, how they've been since the last month and a half since we faced them at a 0-0 draw up at Fitzpatrick Stadium. And we're going to go over a little bit of a summary of that 0-0 draw up in Fitzpatrick. We're not going to get too deep into it, but we're going to touch up on a few notes here and there, and take a look at the league table as we inch closer to the end of the regular season and what that may look like for both teams going forward. Of course, as previously stated, we'll get a little bit of a summary from Alex on where the Richmond Kickers have been for the last month and a half and how their season has been going. And of course, we'll get into our matchup in September 17th when we go down to face the Richmond Kickers down at their place and finish out this two-game series here for our inaugural season for the Hearts of Pine. But Alex, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Certainly was hoping we could get you on the first go around. You and Yogi would have been a good pairing. Of course, doing some travel and things of that sort, and you coming over to actually watch that 0-0 with your family.
Certainly en route to Portland.
Certainly understood that just couldn't work out. But it's great to have you on the second go around of us coming down and visit you guys and getting your perspective on what this Richmond Kickers and this Hearts of Pine matchup is going to look like. So just we'll dive right into the recap of basically that 0-0 back on August 9th, where the Hearts of Pine had plenty of shots, but not so many on goal.
Yeah.
Hearts of Pine with 12 shots on the match. Only one save needed from the Richmond Kickers goalkeeper,
Pablo Hara.
Yeah, yes. I'll tell you what, it was for me. It was nice to see Pablo Hara out there on the pitch. I say that because prior to the Hearts being in the season this year, on their first regular season, I was watching USL League One. Some 2 years prior to this year kicking off, and
Nice.
one of the teams that I just I'm like, I just got to pick a team so I can focus on somebody, and that's going to be my air quotes team. While I'm trying to get the lay of the land, and I picked Tormenta, and of course that's where Pablo came from, some 6 years or so down there, helping out. Keeping balls out of the back of the net down there in Tormenta, and what a great goalkeeper.
Yeah, Pablo. He came out of the Tormenta system before they were even professional.
Yeah.
Was with them for many years before moving up to Richmond last season. From all accounts I've heard here in Richmond, he's not the go-to de facto number one goalkeeper. He is provided his his mentorship, his skills, his teachings to the younger goalkeepers such as James Snedden, and been happy to do that and play that role. He's a great person to have on the team.
Yeah, he certainly is, and that's a great glue guy, great experienced guy to learn from. Much to your point. And he still knows how to keep the ball out of the back of that too.
Yeah, he made one save that night or that afternoon at Fitzpatrick, with Hunter Morse having to make 3, including one that ended up I think being one of the goals of the week. So he earned that clean sheet for sure.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, to your point, Kickers getting 7 shots on the day, and those 3 shots on goal that Hunter had to go ahead and contend with, and one of those being a save of the week, exactly what you just mentioned. And I'm thinking back to that matchup, which is a month and a half in the rearview mirror. So some of the visions for myself might be a little bit foggy here, but I do remember that, and I looked at the stats, and it backs it up that the Hearts had a large possession of the ball, which as people are learning this year for the Hearts side of the house, they're learning that just because you have possession doesn't mean that you have an advantage per se in this league, and
Yep.
that's certainly the underlining factor yet again in this particular matchup. And the Hearts aren't really one of those teams that really want to have possession of the ball, but someone has to have it, and that was kind of the case in that matchup. Is the Hearts were stuck with the possession of the ball, and obviously 0-0 scoreline. Really couldn't really put it in the back of the net against Richmond Kickers on the home side. And I recall, I recall just a lot of good defense, of course, on the kicker side of the house is the obvious piece. I'm trying to recall on really where the point of contention was in that matchup. Can you help me out with that?
Man,
I
so
think,
I was up in the top corner of the stands
yeah,
that day. You know, I just remember it being a lot of just like midfield back and forth, and nobody
yeah,
really,
yeah,
really creating many solid chances until Richmond had a few there in the second half. But yeah, it was just kind of a midfield battle from what I remember.
yeah. I think I kind of remember the same thing. I was trying to think back if I remember the Hearts, setting up camp in the kicker's end of the pitch, and the kickers having to really bunker in and really defend in their own third. I don't recall a lot of that happening. Um, to your point of being pretty much a midfield battle back and forth, kind of that stodgy 0-0 that your classic stodgy 0-0 that you typically see. I think that was pretty much the match of the day. But you did mention that you were there on site, up in the stands, watching it there with your family.
Mhm.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit of your experience there at Fitzpatrick Stadium?
That experience was pretty awesome. The Yeah, uh, y'all have a good thing going there. The pack stands, the concessions. I met your senator Angus King was
Yeah,
there. I took a selfie with him.
yeah,
That was just I've never seen any of my senators at a Kickers game.
yeah,
So that was kind of cool. The Yeah, I mean, like the whole experience was it was a good one. They put us up there in that corner in our own little section, and we tried to do some chants. Couldn't keep up with the 600
yeah,
strong
yeah,
Deargo Union.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, we had a good laugh at some of the stuff that was coming from your side. All in good fun.
Oh yeah, it's all part of
um,
the atmosphere.
I think one at one point, like, somebody started saying like, "Oh, Confederates, you guys lost the war." We're like, "Yeah, we know. We tore down those statues." Some of us were actually there, tearing them down that night. So
Yeah,
it's like, fun
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, some may lean into it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It's like that we've got the Union Army deal and the tifo that was unfurled
Yeah.
in that match and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, it's an identity, of course,
Yeah.
and all
Oh, I
that.
don't. Yeah, I don't
But
blame anybody for
right,
for
but yeah,
chirping.
to your point, yeah, some may lean into it a little bit too much. It's like, okay, that remember that was generations ago, everybody.
Yeah.
That was generations
I will.
ago.
I will say, if you come to Richmond, the Red Army will not be playing up anything with the Confederacy.
not, not something we're going to see in the,
Yeah.
in the Richmond match, huh?
But
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
whole experience
yeah,
we had a blast. It was nice. Down here, you look at Allagash, the beer,
yeah,
and all you can find is Allagash White. And then you go up there and you're like, oh, they have other beers.
yeah,
They have a
right.
lager. They have a. So I got to, it was fun trying some of the stuff there, and trying the Portland Hearts of Pine special beer was
Yeah,
good.
right.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Yeah.
Weather was beautiful. Maine, just in the summer, you can't beat it.
Right. It's a good place to be in the summertime, which is, why they call us vacation land, and everyone likes to come up in the up to Maine and in the New England area in the summertime,
Uh,
and
we
feel
had
that.
yeah, and we had fun at the Portland Zoo, hanging out with the Union there. They took good care of us there. I will
Yeah.
say the only thing about Maine, we tried to get in the ocean at Old Orchard Beach, and it was cold. We're like, what is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, you're
Why
not
are
gonna.
Canadians swimming? It is freezing.
Yeah, you're not gonna find a nice 75, 80-degree pool water in the Atlantic Ocean on the coast of the state of Maine. That's for sure.
Yep.
But it certainly cools you off on a triple-digit July day, if you will,
Yeah, I'm
August
sure.
even. Most people will kind of go in, up to their knees or something like that, and be like,
That's about all I did. My
I'm
knees.
I'm good. This is enough for me.
My wife said nope, not even putting in her toes, and then the kid like got up to the ankles, and she was like nope. And I was like, I got up to my knees. Like, nope.
Yeah. No, but it's a fun time down on
Yeah.
the beach. Here anytime you can get down on the beach, at least for me, and hear the ocean and the birds and the wildlife and everything that is the ocean. It's relaxing, it's
Yeah.
calming, energy healing, if you will, and all that
Yep.
good stuff. And it's always good vibes and good times when you're down by the ocean. So certainly always a plus. But yeah, I don't think I've really got much else on the recap. Typical 0-0 finish. Certainly you guys kept us from doing what we wanted to do that day. So to your credit, and coming in and getting a point at Fitzpatrick Stadium. So probably walking away from that one, I would assume, from a Richmond perspective, with a job done.
Yeah.
Correct?
You know what? A road draw is a result. I mean, that's about what the bare minimum you can ask for, but you're still getting a point. So on the
Yeah.
road.
All right. Yeah, I would assume that the Kickers walked away with that going. All
And
right, all right.
yeah, and like I kind of walked away from that feeling like Richmond was making some incremental improvements.
Hmm.
Then they went on to lose two in a row after. Um, they've since won two in a row after those two losses. But you know, I, things are I don't know. Things are cautiously optimistic with a hint of cynicism. I guess would be the attitude of Richmond fans right now.
Nice. Sound like a soccer supporter or something. There's always the what could possibly go wrong. What's going to trip us up right around the corner type of thing. It's typically what you're going to see for most soccer supporters, because
Yeah.
it's the nature of the match, nature of the game.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Portland has won three straight since then,
Yeah, yeah. We're on
and
a
is solidly in the run for the playoffs.
yeah. No, the boys has really made some hay in these last three matches and have been scoring goals. So we kind of joked that hey, we finally got the blueprint of putting the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis. We've
Mm-hmm.
had we've had spurts and sputters here and there where we blow up on putting goals in the back of the net, and then we go on these large droughts where it's a one here and there and type of deal, and we're trying to squeak out a draw. Maybe we had a win, and then late we equalize, and that sort of stuff and whatever. But yeah, these last three matches, the Hearts have been looking really strong, and the players for the Hearts of Pine, particularly JT Camara, made it known that, hey, guys, we've got eyes on that number 4 spot, and that's kind of what our goal is. Of course, understanding that's a steep incline, trying to get to that 4th spot. But ripping off 3 wins is an excellent way to get yourself to a 4th position. So it's in front of the Hearts to do. They've shown they are capable, and now we're going to be tasked at least keeping up that pace for short stints with these last 10 matches we have in front of us, and try to collect a large sum of points. And we're still going to probably need a little bit of help from FC Naples still. in order for them to maybe collect just a little bit less points than what we're going to collect will certainly help us out if we're actually going to have a home playoff match at Fitzpatrick Stadium.
Yeah, and a big test this weekend hosting Chattanooga.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the time of recording, we're recording this Friday night. We're looking at going into facing Chattanooga at Fitzpatrick Stadium, number one in the league table. A very very defensive side, very park the bus. We're going to take advantage of your mistakes. Then we're going to run it down the other end and put it in the back of the net. That's typically the Red Wolves' MO.
Yep, they are red hot right now. Chattanooga with a win against Portland and a loss with Tormenta losing or drawing and Richmond losing or drawing. Chattanooga would be the first team to clinch the playoffs this weekend.
So it's
So they
possible.
are they are playing for they're playing for something. I mean, not that Portland's not playing for something, as you just mentioned. Portland is fighting to remain in that playoff hunt and possibly move up to a home playoff spot. But
Yeah,
it's that's going to be I think that's going to be a wild match to watch.
yeah, it will. And this isn't a Red Wolves crossover. Those don't exist. I tried. I, I
Yeah,
couldn't.
they're building back their
Yeah,
base.
yeah.
Next year, I think you might be able to have a little bit more luck there.
I hope so. I hope so. It would be nice to talk to some of those guys. But just one more thing before we leave the Chattanooga deal is when we played Chattanooga at their place. Other than the field trying to recover from the quagmire swamp that it turned into for some 3 weeks, whatever it was there in the season, um, we scored early on Chattanooga and kind of upset their game plan of sitting back, and they had to were just starting to come out of their shell a little bit when we had an error handling the ball out on the wings, and they picked it up, and they were already in the attacking third. We had an error out on the wings in our own end, and they made us pay, and that was the equalizer, and then they ended up scoring another one and actually winning that one, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
So that was that was a lot earlier in the season. That was a different Hearts of Pine. Like we previously mentioned, we're showing we can score on a consistent basis. So it's just a matter of finding the space, making the passes, and I like our chances, honestly, at home against a Chattanooga side that is known for their defense. I think we've got enough quality in the front end of this formation for the Hearts where we can cause them some real problems in a very loud and raucous Fitzpatrick Stadium. But
Yeah. Yeah.
getting back to the Richmond Kickers, yeah. So if we just want to take a quick look in the league table, you kind of already give us the rundown on what everything looks like for both sides of the house, on what it looks like going into the rest of the season here. But Hearts of Pine currently sitting in seventh with 2 games in hand to the previously mentioned Chattanooga Red Wolves. It's tough to kind of come down with an actual number because everyone's on different matches played, right? But um, it depends on
Yeah.
who you want to compare it to. We've got, FC Naples, Charlotte Independence, AV Alta are all sitting on 23 matches. So, 3 matches in hand if you want to compare to those and so on and so forth. But like you mentioned previously, we got some matches in hand to do a little something with going forward, and been on a hot run. So we're looking to keep that continuing for the Hearts of Pine. And Richmond Kickers are certainly sitting down in there in 12th place, still have playoff thoughts in mind, and certainly more than capable of breaching that 8th spot currently held by Union Omaha, sitting on 27 points. Also, a club that's been heating up as of late. So, not probably anything the rest of the league wants to see is the two-time and defending USL League One champs start heating up in the final third of the regular season. Thoughts on Union Omaha heating up?
Yeah, you never could count Union Omaha out. They overcome the shock of losing their coach mid-season.
Yeah.
He went on to become an assistant at Tampa Bay in the USL Championship. They have Vincent Candela as their interim coach, and he's done an outstanding job. They made a few high-profile signings to replace some of the season-ending injuries, and they've had an immediate impact. So yeah, like you just can't count Omaha out ever. Like they
Yeah.
always have this way of inserting themselves back into the conversation when they're down and out. Um,
Yeah.
what is
And
yeah the so John Morrissey put out of the USL Show put out USL playoff odds. And he has Union Omaha sitting at 63% chance of
yeah.
making the playoffs now, whereas Portland he has it 77%.
Yeah. Thank
So
you. Thank
there
you.
you go. Yep. Richmond at a paltry 16%, but Richmond was in this spot last year and went on a run and snuck into that eighth spot.
Yep.
Did they really belong there? No, they lost to Omaha in the first round, but
Right. Yep.
they earned that they snuck into the spot over, I believe, over Tormenta,
Sounds about
clinching it
right.
the
Yep.
last match of the season. So yeah, like Omaha, don't ever count them out. And Portland, let's see, Portland has a magic number of, according to the league, a magic number of 18 points
Yeah.
to clinch.
I saw that. That was a nice little deal that they put out there with a magic number and all that. A little bit of a write up of where everybody sits. I certainly enjoyed reading through that. That was a
Yeah.
nice piece that got put out.
And a fun fact that I learned from that piece, only 3 expansion sides have made the playoffs in their inaugural season, not counting the first season of the league when everybody was an expansion team.
Sure.
Um, Omaha, Charlotte, and Spokane are the only 3 expansion sides to make the playoffs. This year we have Naples and Portland on trajectories to make the playoffs with AV as I'd say a higher probability than not at this
Yeah.
point.
I think they'll turn it around. They've certainly been on a slide as
Yeah.
of late, falling down through the table. But as of time of recording, they're sitting on 23 matches played, 1 point in front of the Hearts of Pine in sixth place. So I think AV Alta is probably going to be okay, unless they just continue to draw and lose their way completely out of the playoff table. Um, but I think they got enough quality in that side where
Oh yeah, for sure.
they're going to go ahead and turn this thing around and stabilize in the playoffs
Yeah.
section. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So I think that's probably about it for the league table. Anything additional that you want to throw in there, Alex, in terms of the league table, playoffs, and all that good stuff?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah. So you did kind of touch upon a little bit on Richmond since the last time that we saw each other back in August. You talked a little bit about losing a couple, winning a couple, and it's kind of a seesaw in the last month and a half for the Richmond Kickers. Kind of how you guys been doing lately?
Yeah. So after Portland, Richmond lost to Tormenta and Knoxville. Those were the Tormenta one especially hurt. That was
Mm,
that's one of those ones that you just have to win.
yeah.
Tormenta was on I think they were on that was their first match with their new coach Mark McKeever. So they were kind of on a new coach bounce there.
Yeah, Richmond.
Um,
I mean, the Tormenta has been making it tough on people lately,
yeah,
and
yeah, they're
they're
looking to play
currently
spoiler.
they're currently sitting in ninth, one
Hmm.
point behind that Union Omaha that we just talked about. 23 matches played, right? So
Yep.
two more over the top of what Union Omaha has, which they
And
get 21 matches played, but
yep.
still, they've basically been spoiling people's match days lately.
Yeah, and they've been doing it in very unexpected ways because when McKeever came in, he was not particularly known during his time at Knoxville for facilitating a lot of goal scoring. And now suddenly with Tormenta, he's looked at this roster and he said we should be scoring a lot more goals, and they have been since he's come in. So I mean, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
They've been getting that done for the most part. But then then Richmond faced Knoxville at home and twice in the same week. One of those matches was scheduled to be played in Knoxville.
That's
It
right.
got called after 20 minutes because of field and goal defects.
It's so bad out there in One Knox.
Richmond went back down there and it got stormed out. Had to come back, and at that point, everybody was just like, "Screw it, It'll be a home match, technically a home match for Knoxville, but it's going to be played in Richmond."
Yeah.
Richmond lost that one, but then a few days later hosted Knoxville again and put on a pretty solid performance and beat them.
Yeah, not a good look for One Knox, having to give up a home match and play that at at your stadium. Not a good look at all. We there's always been conversation on what that pitch looks like when they have to set that up for soccer, and it's not a unique experience for soccer teams to be playing on a baseball field, but it certainly doesn't look as rough as One Knox.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of lessons learned from this inaugural season at that stadium. So hopefully next year, and the baseball season's over now. So for the rest of the season, it's exclusively for One Knox.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully next year they can iron out some of those issues and make it a better experience.
Yeah, I think they need to get with Union Omaha and put their arm around them and say, "Hey, boys, can you show me how you do it?" Because
Union Omaha doesn't really have the best reputation either when it comes to their pitch.
It may not look perfect, but it's not looking like One Knox. So
I can tell you ask around with coaches, their least favorite places to play, and it's Omaha and Knoxville.
is it? Yeah. There was. I'm trying to think of who I thought the team was Union Omaha. Someone was mentioning that they were watching a match, and it was at a baseball field, and they had the sod on there and all that fun stuff, and they're like, "Hey, look, I wonder if One Knox is watching this and learning how to put this in." And maybe it wasn't Union Omaha. Maybe that's a bad example on my part, but nonetheless, they do have some things to figure out.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like Omaha will be playing in that stadium next year. I think they're working on some deals to play in some other more soccer-specific facilities in the Omaha area while they get their own stadium situation under control, which is now slated for 2027 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good to hear. Certainly with the crossover with the boys over there at the Parliament. I think they're eager to see new pastures,
Yeah.
and it certainly I am assuming would be a better viewing experience and playing experience for everybody else involved. So hopefully that is all heading in the right direction and better for Union Omaha and better for the league. So.
Yep. So back to Richmond. Richmond went and played at Westchester over the weekend and did the absolute necessary thing and beat Westchester.
Hey, here we go.
I think that match is the one that's keeping them in the conversation by winning that must win match against a team that's just lesser in the standings. You got to take those. And they went up there and won 2-0, put a clean sheet on an offense that's usually pretty high octane.
Yes.
Even if the Westchester's defense is the worst,
absolutely abysmal.
Their offense is
top notch.
At periods in this season has been one of the best. And Richmond was able to hold them to a clean sheet.
Yep. No, big credit to you guys on that one. That's tough to do. People say a lot of things about Westchester due to where they currently sit in the table, but believe me, you do not want to get in a shootout with Westchester. That is a very that's a very bad game plan, is to get into a shootout with Westchester.
Yeah, I remember that home match with Westchester and Richmond ended 4-4.
Yeah. They can put the ball in the back of the net. They know how to do that. Can't keep it out of the back of the net, but they can put it in your net.
Yeah. But yeah, and then this weekend, Richmond will play Madison for the third time this season. We've split the series this year. This is one of the teams that we're playing 3 times
Yep.
in the Henny Derby. If you don't know much about the Henny Derby, the protagonist wrote a great article either last year or the year before about the history of it, interviewing our friend Yogi Elliott Barr
Yes. Good
and
guy.
Kyle Carr in Madison to go over that, that very organic, fan-driven rivalry,
Yep.
which the league has now kind of embraced and done an increasingly better job of embracing it as well after a
Yeah.
few missteps early on.
Yep.
And then, of course, Richmond returns home and faces Portland on Wednesday.
Yeah, and that rivalry that you're speaking to, that Henny Derby, that's a good thing. The league is really starting to embrace that a lot more. If people are like Shawn, Alex, what are you guys talking about? Henny, I've heard. I don't know all the roots of it. Dig into it. We're not going to cover all the nuts and bolts of it here, but yeah, go ahead and go read that article. Um, it's a good read. It's a good read, and it's a good point of history here for a very young USL League One. And it's,
Yeah.
it's one of the good derbies to kind of sink your teeth into, if you will.
And Yogi's he's in Madison this weekend.
Yep.
He'll be there.
Yeah, you guys got a trophy and all that
Watch
sort of
out,
stuff.
Madison.
Yogi's in town. So the one thing I guess I do want to know a little bit about is the trophy. So I heard about the trophy. It's it's not going to be in town due to like shipping and all that sort of stuff or something like that. But when they come back around, the trophy will be made available to the appropriate side depending on how the match all works out. So
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't kept up with if it's gone with.
yeah,
I guess it's currently with Madison.
yeah,
So
yeah. But what is the trophy for the Hennessy Derby?
it is a bedazzled, empty Henny bottle.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I mean, one would assume, well, if you're talking about the Henny Derby, should be self-explanatory what that trophy is. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and throw it out there. But yeah, no, it's a fun
It's a good
deal.
time. Yeah, Madison. Like there's always a few Madison fans in Richmond. Some of them, I think, one guy comes up from Florida. Another one came from Madison last year. A few others came from Madison in Wisconsin last year. I don't think we send quite as many on to that end.
Right.
But I think at least 2 people are going this year.
Yeah, and it's fun as more teams come into the league here next year, and we're going to be up to some 21 teams hopefully next year. Everyone still stays with League One, fingers crossed. No teams are moving elsewhere or folding and things of that sort, which unfortunately is all too realistic for a Division 3 soccer league. But
Yeah.
hopefully some of that can start slowing down and ultimately coming to a complete stop, and we can continue to see these clubs year after year in USL League One, of course, until Pro Rel when it comes up, and
Yeah, and
that's
as far as we know, it looks like all the teams are going to make it this year, and nobody's moving up to championship. Omaha had been scheduled to move up, but I don't think they are because of their
yeah,
stadium situation.
yeah,
So it looks like we may have 21 teams next year. The October 1st is the sanctioning deadline. I think they're finalizing things this week and next. So we should know pretty soon if there's any of the expansion sides that aren't going to
yeah.
join next year. But I mean, I've heard there's a high degree of confidence that they all will. So that's
Good.
AC Boise, Sporting Cascades, Corpus Christi, Cosmos, Fort Lauderdale United, Fort Wayne, and Sarasota Paradise.
It's gonna be fun.
And next year, from what I've been told, they're still finalizing all this as well, but it sounds like there's going to be it's going to be a nationwide table again. Not
Okay.
completely balanced. I think there's going to be like 1 to 2 teams that teams will play 3 times,
Hmm.
and they'll play everybody home and away, with the goal of being balanced and somewhat regionalized by 2027.
So they're certainly heading towards the regionalized side of the house then. Okay.
Yep. And as far as
Oh,
2027 expansion, it's the Wild West as at this moment. I don't see any like huge signs that they're definitely going to join. There's just like a whole list of projects.
yeah, fraught
Maybe
with.
Winter Garden, Florida is the furthest along, but yeah, it's right now it's still the Wild West.
Yes, because we definitely need another Florida team.
I mean, they,
Pack 'em in
they
there.
there's people there, and they make it happen.
Yeah, if wherever we can get a club that is properly supported in League One, I am all for it.
Yeah.
It's funny that the state of Florida will end up holding 3 to 4 plus League One clubs down there, but
Yeah, but
hey,
like Florida, like the population is so like it's like the population centers are all relatively close to each other. The population is massive,
yeah,
so like
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
ton of support for it.
Yeah, like I said, if they're going to be properly supported by the surrounding community, big thumbs up, right? But typically, I would like to see more clubs properly supported out on the West Coast is where I would
Yeah,
like to see them.
definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but I'm all for if the club is going to be supported properly and it's going to be around for a long time, I'm good. I'm
It's
good.
just crazy how like the East Coast mind has trouble comprehending just how far Boise and Spokane are from
Yeah,
other population centers that have teams. Like it's
this is
that
a
that that
large,
yeah.
large country, ladies and gentlemen, and um, travel costs are a different animal when you're
Yeah.
talking about leagues in the United States versus over in Europe, where you can jump on a bus and you can go from one to the other in just a matter of minutes, or you can just literally walk to the other stadium
I
because
mean, like
you could almost see it from where you are, and you can
we
just
drove
walk there.
we drove to Portland. It was 10 to 12 hours, a 10 to 12
Okay.
hour trip. I don't think like that drive exists in England.
I don't think it does. I think from the northern, in terms of premier, if we're talking Premier League, if you will, right?
Yeah.
I think I've done this once before, so my memory could be a little foggy, but I believe the northern part of England to the southern part of England, where the furthest teams are, I think you're looking like maybe like an 8 hour drive.
Yeah.
We
It's
would
like from
ki-
here to
we would
Boston.
we would
Richmond
we
to
would
Boston.
we would kill for an 8 hour drive in terms of being the longest commute
Yeah.
in the league, right? We
Yeah.
would love to have those problems where we're going, we're doing that 8 hour drive, guys.
Yeah. Charlotte's 4 hours. That's our closest.
instead of people being on a plane going from like I don't know like FC Naples to
Or
like AV Alta or something for like what well, that flight's probably about 7 hours probably
yeah. Yeah.
7 or 8 hours in a plane one way.
Yeah.
Bit of a difference there, but anything else for your summary for Richmond Kickers, Alex?
Let's see. I guess a question for the fans, for Richmond fans. Um, besides the obvious of Ollie Wright and I guess JT Kamara, who should Richmond fans be really watching out for at the match?
Yeah, so if we're taking Ollie Wright off the table, and who was the second one that you wrote?
JT Kamara.
JT Kamara, yeah, yeah. If we're taking the wingers off the table and saying, all right, Shawn, come up with something else. We understand those wingers are dynamic out on the wings. They're going to do Ollie Wright things and JT Kamara things. Got it. We've seen it. We understand. Who else are we supposed to be maybe keeping an eye on? I would probably point right in the center of those two wingers. And guy who wears number 77, Masashi Wada from Yokohama, Japan,
Yeah.
is a very dangerous player when it comes to creating space and eating up space, exploiting it, if you will. Um, really pulls defenders off from those previously mentioned attacking and goal scoring threats. He's a big reason of why people get open, whether it be by drawing the defense or he's also very good at that passing thing. He's pretty good at that. Um, and in just the last match, he also showed off his touch. I believe that was with Greenville, and he absolutely rinses the defender for Greenville. And the ball comes in, and his first touch. The defender is coming up to try to spot him up, so it's kind of like face to face type of deal. And he is just inside the 18-yard box when this is taking place. To give you a reference on the pitch of where Musashi Water is when this ball comes in. And his first touch, he touches the ball, and the ball travels behind the defender that is trying to do his job there in front of Musashi. Masashi then runs towards goal, rendezvous with the ball on the other end of the defender, leaving him in his dust, and then goes and puts a right foot to it and puts it up in the roof of the net, and then scores an outstanding goal against Greenville. So
Yeah, he scored in two straight too.
yeah, he can. He's dangerous as a goal scorer. People don't typically see him as being a goal scoring threat because he's so good at bringing everybody else into play. Uh, uh, Coach Bobby Murphy also previously in the year used him deeper in the formation, kind of almost like a double six almost when we play a lot of the possession based sides.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, going back to his eyes for space and knowing and kind of predicting where those passing patterns are, and breaking those down and intercepting balls and getting the Hearts into a quick attack right into midfield and going forward into the attacking third. He's good at that as well. So 77. The name is Masashi Wada.
Yeah, and he did not appear when Richmond played at Portland. He
That's
wasn't
correct.
even on the roster that day. So well, we have not seen him yet. Hopefully, we will on Wednesday.
And if you wanted a second one, the other one would be Titus Washington.
Titus, yeah.
Yeah, so number 14, our striker up front, that has really been in good form as of late. As all new strikers into any league, he had to kind of find his way in the first half of the league. Much like Noah Kavifta, number 99, is kind of
Mm-hmm.
finding his way right now in USL League One. He's putting in those early on Titus minutes, if you will, time now. And I think he just has to get through the same stuff that Titus did. And I think he's probably going to come into form, hopefully just before playoffs start would be great. And then if we have an informed Noah Kavifta and informed Titus Washington as strikers up front, with the surrounding cast of characters around them, that would be exactly what the Hearts of Pine
Yeah,
would be looking
that's some
for going
that's
into
some nice
playoffs.
depth to have going into the playoffs. Noah's been getting some solid minutes since he's come on.
Yeah, yeah. He's been Coach Bobby Murphy has been playing him as much as he possibly can, knowing he so desperately needs these minutes to kind of get acclimated into USL League One and find his form.
Yeah. Do you think with Portland, the importance of what do you think about the importance of having like veterans like Sean Vinberg and Jake Keegan on the team are?
Invaluable, absolutely invaluable. Keegan, absolute wealth of knowledge when it comes to this league, and certainly for the forward end of the formation. And talking tools of the trade on the forward end, with those young players that we were just talking about with Noah Kavifta and Titus Washington, arm in arm, and you got Keegan right in the middle going, boys, this is what we're going to be doing.
He's
That's
a legend.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want Mr. Keegan to be doing. Going, all right,
Yep.
Titus, against this type of defense in this league, this is what we do. Okay, got it. I can do that. Hey Noah, let me give you a little advice. You're just kind of breaking in League One. Titus, keep doing Titus things. Noah, come on over here. that's the type of stuff that you get
Yeah.
from a savvy veteran and a great just human being in Jake Keegan.
Yep.
Um, the Derigo Union got a chance to have some conversations with him, primarily with Coach's Corner and with Coach Bobby Murphy and stuff like that, and just kind of have some fun with him. And just his character and his knowledge was on full display, and can that's just some great stuff. And having those types of guys and Patty Langlois and of
Mikey
course
Lopez.
I was just going to say, of course, our captain, Mikey Lopez, to kind of bring those a lot of first year pros that reside on the Hearts of Pine, to talk to them about the league, talk to them about being a professional,
Yeah.
and it's not an accident that we've got a guy on the forward section in Mr. Keegan. In the center of the pitch with Lopez, and then of course our center back with Sean Vinberg. It's by design, and it's
Yep.
got Coach Bobby Murphy's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
Um, Bringing in those types of characters and those types of good human beings to make influences on these young pros that are cutting their teeth here in the USL League One. Certainly working out well so far, and we hope that continues going forward.
Yeah, and Keegan, he is eternal in this league. What he in the off season when he was announced, or I guess that was at the almost at the start of the season. He was announced for Portland. We knew he had been trialing up there. He'd shown up in a few photos.
Yeah.
But he sent me a message. He said, "One day I'm not going to be able to play in USL League One, and I'm going to be sad."
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of supporters out there. They're going to be sad too. Let me tell you, because I mean, he's just like we said, he's good people, and you
Yeah.
want to see good people doing good things, what they love to do for as long as they possibly can do it. And that's where he is in his point of his career right now. He's just he's wringing out every last bead of sweat he can
Yep.
in USL E1, and good on him for doing so. And we're certainly happy to have him for as long as he would like to put on those boots. So, Alex, I think we're walking into our match day experience here down at Richmond Kickers
City Stadium.
City Stadium. Thank you very much. On September 17th. What do we got to look forward to from Richmond Kickers on maybe what you foresee in terms of a possible starting 11? Maybe give us maybe a couple of players to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, so we got it's a early match that Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Was supposed to be at 8, but we got pushed back by CBS Sports because MLS being in the U.S. Open Cup that night took the prime spot. But after some finagling, they made sure that we're still on CBS Sports just prior to the Open Cup match. So everybody should get there immediately, leave work, and head to the stadium. Against Portland, we haven't done many. I don't think we've done many modifications to our roster lately, but we're Richmond is, from what I understand, largely healthy with the exception of winger Matt Bolduck, who is out for another couple weeks. But everybody else should be good to go. I would say one player to keep an eye on for Richmond is Landon Johnson. Landon is an 18-year-old who turned professional last season,
Mm.
came out of the Richmond Academy, has kind of been slow walked into his role, but he's getting more and more minutes lately and has scored 2 goals, his first 2 goals in his career since the start of August. So he definitely seems to be coming into his own with the development through the academy, and all of that seems to be starting to pay some dividends. And then, of course, in the midfield, our German Nils Seufert is prone to some pretty spectacular playmaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I would keep an eye on those two.
Gotcha. So for the Hearts of Pine, in terms of the starting 11, I don't think we're going to really see too much of a difference from what we saw back there when in Fitzpatrick Stadium. Um, Bobby has pretty much kind of locked in his starting 11 past several weeks. He has made a few adjustments where he needs to in terms of injuries and things of that sort. He's also been playing um, Sega Koulibaly, number 45, a center back that actually has quite a few MLS minutes for the LA Galaxy, and actually has a goal for the El Trafico that actually won the match for his LA Galaxy. And through the adventure of soccer and injuries and therefore he kind of finds himself in USL League One, and he's trying to kind of get himself back into a healthy stretch of form. And the opportunity was there to come to the Hearts of Pine, and we were certainly glad that he chose the Hearts of Pine. We're happy to have him. He can stay for as long as he likes. And we saw Sega and what he can do. I'm going to spotlight him from a Westchester perspective when he was basically assigned to mark the Golden Boot leader currently right now, which I believe he's tied, I think, with Henderson at the top of the
Yeah,
goal
Hender
scoring
Long.
list. Hendelong, thank you,
Yeah.
Hendelong, um, and Obregon Jr. And in that match, and I'm going to go from memory. I think I'm pretty close. Uh, he only had 38 touches. I know he had 0 assists. I know he had 0 goals, and I know he only had um, 2 key passes. And I think those 2 key passes came from when he was out on the channel, far away from number 45
Mm-hmm.
and Sega Koulibaly. So that's the kind of presence that Sega has when he's out there on the pitch. It looks like Coach Bobby Murphy has kind of been making sure that he's got a week to recover when he does play him for 90 minutes. We saw him for 90, and then we turn around and had a match midweek, and there was no Sega Koulibaly. So I think he's being very deliberate with how he uses Sega and making sure that he's got plenty of time to rest and recover as he gets back into that 90-minute fit form that I was speaking to. So
Yeah.
um, it's either going to be him or Sean Vinberg, of course, in that right center back role. And Bobby has actually played 3 center backs in the back line before. So, and if the health is a little bit up in the air for our outside back, which I believe that will be the case um, with Colby Quinones, he Coach Bobby Murphy said he's probably going to be out for a little bit. We do have Mo Muhammad, which is our backup out there on the right flank, but um, Bobby has played 3 at the back before, and he's got some pretty good center backs at his disposal with Sega Koulibaly, Sean Vinberg, and Kamali Green. He may be tempted to play a back three, but we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
see what he does.
As far
Um,
as Richmond's last 2 matches, Richmond has gone kind of playing, kind of emulating Chattanooga, playing 5 defenders.
yeah,
It's not listed as a 5 defense setup, but there are 5 defenders in there. 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, and then Terzaghi and Kirkland or Landon Johnson up top with Darwin Espinal and Nil Siffert there in the middle. Um, that's it's worked. So
yep,
I expect, based on how Portland plays, I expect it to be a similar setup on Wednesday, with probably either Beckett Howe or Maxie Shenfield on the left back, Simon Fitch is always on the right back with Griffin Garnett, Marcelo Lage, and Clyde Echella as the three center backs. Like I said, it's worked.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
can't beat Chattanooga, copy them.
Yeah. There you go.
And we certainly can't beat Chattanooga this year. So
if you can't beat them, join them. Well, it worked for them. All right. Let's see if we can make it work for us. We need some points. We need some wins. We'll take that.
Yeah, and Josh Kirkland, I believe he took a little bit of a knock against Westchester and had to leave early, but from what I understand, he's fine. So Coach Sawatsky has his choice of Kirkland or Johnson to play alongside Terzaghi, assuming Terzaghi will be healthy. He's at this point in his career, he's always, you never know until the day of. But I hope he'll be there. Haven't heard otherwise. But yeah, I mean, Josh Kirkland and Darwin Espinal are up there in the Golden Boot race. They're not. I think they've dropped down to what, third, fourth, but they're up there. That's the first time we've had two players competing for Golden Boot in a while that I remember.
Yeah.
Kirkland is he's a local boy. Went to Mary Washington University out here in Virginia. Grew up in Richmond. Trialed for the team half of last season, and then in the middle of the season, they're like, "Hey, let's bring him on." And now he's got 7 goals on the season, which is pretty cool to see.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, for the Hearts of Pine, we don't really have anyone in the Golden Boot race at all. Like I said, it's a combination of the two things that I can think of off the top of my head, which is a reason why that is the case. And the front half of the season, it's no secret to anybody that the Hearts had a hard time putting the ball in the back of the net, and we were pretty good defensively, and we had a lot of draws. We racked up a lot of draws on the front end, so that's the one piece. But the second piece is, once we have consistently started scoring goals, the goal distribution has kind of been spread around.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think that's far more dangerous than having a single Golden Boot leader. Because you never know where these goals are going to come from.
Right.
There's a lot of people who can put the ball in the back of the net. So it's hard for defenses to mark that.
But if you do look at the assist table, you will find Ollie Wright, I believe, tied for second, like a 3-way tie, or maybe even a 4-way tie. I think he's got 6 assists on the season.
Yeah, he is adequately doing his job as a winger. That's what you like to see out of your winger.
And newly voted Player of the Month of August, Ollie Wright.
Good for him.
So that was something that just came out just literally days ago. That Ollie Wright is USL League One's Mr. August, if you will, Player of the Month. So congratulations to Ollie.
Yeah,
Wright.
I was happy to see him come into the league. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he is. Everything that he did over in USL 2 and MLS Next Pro, and of course, his assist record in USL League 2, which I do believe he still owns. I don't think anyone has broken that yet. And he comes into League 1, and he had a normal break-in period like all new players. He was no different, where he had a stretch at the very beginning of the season where it was just he just needed a goal, and you could tell it was starting to gnaw at him, and you didn't see that typical jovial Ollie Wright that we see these days, right? Where he's in his stride, he's feeling good, he's feeling dangerous, and it's typical Ollie Wright. In the beginning of the year, not so much. His assists weren't quite going where he wanted them to go, whether it's on his end or where he was being received at or what have you. And it's part of a team trying to learn how to play with each other is what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's always tough to come in on an expansion side. Nobody's played with each other. New coach, new systems. We saw FC Naples. I think they were definitely an outlier early this season in how well they started, where everybody else kind of took a little bit. But once like Portland and AV got going, like it's been a fun ride lately.
Yeah, if I
AV could really use a win right
mm,
now, but they built themselves a little bit of a cushion. Um, so and Texoma showed some mid-season moments of brilliance before kind of falling back down to earth, and you know it's it's been fun seeing all these expansion teams, and it's going to be even more fun next year.
yeah, and just the one last note there on the Ollie Wright thing. If memory serves me correctly, he kind of got that first goal and really started lighting things off, lighting his season off
Yeah,
on Father's Day, and appropriately enough, his father was in the stands,
nice.
and a nice celebration ensued after he put the ball in the back of the net with his dad. And that's kind of really what lit off his season in terms of his form. Was that goal? So nice touch there for Ollie Wright, and congratulations to him for being voted Player of the Month of August for USL League One. But Alex, we kind of went through the formations. We kind of went through the spotlighted players. So now all we got left is predictions. So we're going to have a little fun, as we always do with these predictions. We don't take them too seriously, but have some fun with it. Give me a score line. Who's going to score? How's it going to happen? Yellow cards, red cards, all the ins and outs of this possible storyline that we're going to have when the Hearts of Pine
All
travel
right.
down to face the Richmond Kickers at Memorial Stadium. What does it look like from your perspective?
So Richmond fans right now are like cautiously optimistic, but with a big, huge peppering of cynicism. Um, that's just how our season has gone. That's how
Yeah.
how the fans are feeling right now. We've won two in a row, and everyone's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But we aren't sure. We aren't sure if it's going to be sustainable. But you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say 2-1 home win for Richmond.
Okay.
We're gonna see goals from JT Kamara, and we're gonna see a goal from Landon Johnson, and we're gonna see a match winner off the bench from Chandler O'Dwyer.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
That's Chandler. He was our leading goal scorer last year. Didn't have that many. Like I think he had six. We just we didn't score very many goals last year. He hasn't quite had as much luck this year and has been playing off the bench. But I could see him coming in and putting in a late match winner.
All
What about you?
right. Okay, so I think goals will be scored. There will be none of that nil-nil stuff that we saw up here in Fitzpatrick Stadium down there in Memorial Stadium. Goals will be scored. I think the Hearts are going to maybe try to tighten up the defense just a little bit, in basically respect to their previous three games, where we've kind of given up two goals, I think, in every single game, if my memory serves me correctly, which is a little unheartsish. We usually we'll give up two every once in a while, but not with regularity like we have lately. So I think assistant coach Alex Ryan and head coach Bobby Murphy tightens the clamps on the Hearts defense on the road and trying to get it prepped and ready for playoff soccer here in USL League One. I think one gets in from the Kickers, but I think it is just one. Um, I don't have a name for a goal scorer, but I do see it coming in the run of play. And I think it's probably going to be one of those deals where, the ball comes in, it gets parried away, it kind of gets out into the box, and it kind of starts drifting around amongst the legs, and we got a Richmond kicker player that comes in and stuffs it in the back of the net. So I think it's going to be kind of one of those type goals, and you just kind of go, shit, yeah. Should have got cleared a little bit quicker. We probably would have been all right. But hey, we see a ton of those goals in USL League One, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's probably how the Kickers is going to get on the score sheet. I am going to say that's going to come in the second half. That'll be a second half
Okay.
goal score for the Richmond Kickers, and um, the one of the things here with the Hearts of Pine is the whole no goals from corners this year, which we kind of joked that the Hearts are just waiting for playoffs, and it's going to be a nice 10-yard freaking straight line header from the opposite post to win a playoff match. That's when the Hearts are going to have their first goal on a corner kick, saving it for the playoffs. But um, I think the drought continues in this match. I don't think we're going to see any goals from corners. When we're doing corner kicks, don't worry about it. You're good to go. Um, but I think it's probably the usual suspects up front for the Hearts. I think they're going to get one in the first half to get on the goal sheet on the score sheet rather. Um, I think we're probably going to see that from Titus Washington. I think Titus will be playing striker for us, and I think he's going to get on the goal sheet. It'll be like a 1-0 halftime scoreline. And then, as previously mentioned, the Kickers are going to equalize probably in the first 10 minutes into the second half, and the crowd is going to be into it, and we're going to have a real match on our hands. And I think we're going to have JT Kamara coming in as a substitute off the bench. Uh, we joke that Natty is basically like that squirrel from Over the Hedge, that movie called Over the Hedge. I think the name is Hammy, I believe, and it's going to be like a reincarnation of the when they give him the energy drink and everything like slows down, right? And he's basically walking around doing what he's got to do, and everyone is almost completely frozen. Um, JT Kamara coming in off the bench and doing JT Kamara things, and
Yeah.
he's gonna put one in the back of the net, coming running down that right edge of that 6-yard box, much like he did in the match previous on the road. We're gonna have the same type of thing, and he's gonna cut in and put it on that left foot of his, and we're gonna go ahead and score that second goal. Um,
I
I'm
speak
not.
of corners and set pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
Richmond has been pretty good with those this year,
Have
scoring
you?
goals from corners. Yeah.
Nice. We're gonna take some of your mojo then. We're gonna have to start writing down some notes there for Richmond corners here. And pay attention to what you guys are doing down there. See if we can adopt some of it. But I don't think there will be a third goal in this match. I will also keep it to a 2-1 score line. Possibility is there late for a third, but I think I don't foresee a third. I think we'll keep it at 2-1, and of course, our Hearts win on the road. Alex, anything further on this matchup?
Yeah, if anybody's coming down, come say hello. Yeah, come the Red Armies. They're pretty nice. I'm always around, so yeah. If any Portland fans are going to be there, be sure to introduce yourselves, say hello.
Yeah, yeah. We've been thinking about Chattanooga right now, but I can't recall anyone really, throwing out a group of Hearts, a contingent coming down for Richmond. That may change over the weekend.
Yeah, Wednesday night in September is always a tough sell for a road match.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Away days.
Yeah, a 12.
Saturday in August in Portland, perfect.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
August. Yeah.
Wednesday, Richmond, Virginia,
Yeah.
12-hour drive and/or plane ride. Your choice of how you like to travel and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. It's a
Tough to do.
tough sell.
Yeah. So probably not a lot of Heart supporters down there this year. But I tell you what, Richmond is certainly on the radar in terms of away days
Yeah.
for a lot of people up here in the Northeast, and what you guys have for an atmosphere down there, and what you guys try to create, and certainly when any supporter section is looking at away days, that's usually right at the top of the list in terms of how the people are going to make their selections, and where to go to away days, and where to have that enjoyable soccer experience, right? If you're going to spend some money and put some time into it, you want to go to a place that is creating an atmosphere.
Absolutely.
And you guys are certainly at the top, amongst the top teams in the league that create such an atmosphere for
Yeah.
away fans to come in.
Naples, AV, and Madison all come to mind as others that are really doing a good job with the fan engagement and support.
Yeah. So Alex, I certainly want to thank you for your time coming on here and talking a little bit of football here with the Richmond Kickers and what we like to do and kind of having a bit of a conversation of kind of how your team has been doing so far this year and what this matchup is going to look like and a little bit around the league and a little bit of table talk and all that sort of stuff. And certainly want to do a couple things here. At first, I want to tell you that is a beautiful looking Derigo Union scarf you got hanging over the top of your head there, and it just
Yeah, thank you for the gift when I was at the Portland Zoo last
it,
month.
it just makes everything else look so much better back there.
I got a Red Army one. Yeah, is it not hanging up? Oh, yeah, Red Army right here.
Of course, you got a Red Army one, as you
Yeah,
should, as you
yeah,
should, absolutely. Um, and the other piece is I certainly want to give you the time and the opportunity to go ahead and let some of the people know out there that may not know where to find you, some new supporters and new fans to the league, and they're going, who's this Alex Ashton guy?
yep.
But
Alex Ashton. Look up League One Updater. I'm on Blue Sky,
yeah,
Instagram. Nominally still on the other place. I've also I am a writer at the Southeast Soccer Report and Beyond the 90, and I am a semi-regular co-host on the USL Show, which is usually on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern.
and I'll certainly say from my perspective and with Alex, when I started up this crossover series here for the DU, you're looking at the face that provided a lot of the contacts that helped me
Oh yeah,
with this crossover section. So a big thank you goes out to Alex Ashton to help provide contacts and people that I can get a hold of to create this content that you guys get to watch, hopefully enjoy with this crossover series. So a big thank you from me
yeah,
to you.
yeah. Thank you for what you do. I've never seen so much quality USL one content as I have right now, ever. It's truly a good time to be a USL one fan with so much so much quality stuff out there. It's kind of I haven't really written anything in the last month or two.
Yeah.
Just been really really busy in personal life, but it's kind of made me feel better that there are so many others who are have stepped up to also provide quality written content, video content, audio content,
Yep.
all the content. Feed
Yep.
it, pump it into my veins. I love it. Everybody, keep it coming, including you, Shawn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Will
it's
do.
been it's amazing.
As they say, a rising tide lifts all boats, and that certainly applies to what you're speaking to with the content
Yep.
out there and educating the fan base and all the different storylines we have around this league and what we will continue to have for storylines around this league as this league continues to grow in the next 2 or 3 years, and again, promotion, relegation, and those different types of storylines and twists and turns that we're going to be in store for us these next 4 or 5 years. It is
Yeah.
really good to be a USL fan
Yeah,
right
and
now.
like I can tell you, like sitting around the Richmond stands at any random game, like just overhearing people talking about the opposing teams, about the opposing players, like people are actually taking the time to get to know these things now instead of just showing up and seeing your local minor league team. That's how
Right.
people kind of treated it like that in the past, especially over the last few years in Richmond's in USL one. But yeah, I've noticed a huge increase in fan engagement and just wanting to know everything about the league, the players, the other teams, where they're located, where they're from. It's great. I think I noticed it first. God, I can't remember which game earlier this season, but like people were like random people were just spouting off facts about opposing players, and I was like, how do you know that? Like I know that because I'm a sicko. Like,
Yeah, right.
and then I started to realize like they're paying attention to our content, like
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
ours. Like
It's like a light bulb, like a
people
light
are getting
bulb moment.
engaged. So,
All of a sudden, you're like,
yeah,
wait a minute.
everybody keep it coming. Yeah,
Yes,
keep up the great work.
these are all good things. And also, when we get towards the end of the year and we're in that December, January, squishy type of off-season time frame, this is also the guy that is going to provide the names, comings and goings.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll be back by then, for sure. That's my time to shine.
that's right. League One updater content. December and January are his big months. More so maybe on the backside of December. Maybe
Yeah, sometimes.
a few smatterings on the front end, perhaps. But usually the front half of December is probably relatively quiet when it comes to personnel moving around the league.
I believe it all starts around November 1st. That's when contracts expire, and that's when people start
Yeah.
to trickle out
Yeah.
information.
So you might get a few quick turnarounds where people had very clear plans on certain players
Or
and maybe
players themselves will just say, "Oh,
right.
it's been a pleasure, but I'm
Yep.
moving on."
Yep. Yep. So, anyways, certainly keep your eyes and ears open to League One Updater during that time of the year. And again, another great service that Alex Ashton provides this USL League One league and supporters and the supporter groups around the league. So, certainly, again, another big thank you for that, Alex. So, if you cannot be at Memorial Stadium watching the Richmond Kickers host the Hearts of Pine this Wednesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. You can certainly find the matchup as previously discussed on CBS and Paramount Plus, and watch the Richmond Kickers host the Hearts of Pine, and these playoff points are on the line, as I like to call them, getting themselves shuffled for the playoff spot in those very valuable top 8 spots at the top of the table in playoff soccer. And as they say, just get into the game and get into the playoffs, and anything can happen once you're in, but you got to get in.
Yep.
So, Alex, one more time, thank you for your time, and thank you for coming on the podcast, and very enjoyable podcast, talking Richmond Kickers soccer and Hearts of Pine soccer with you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.